The Empire didn't need the Force to be terrifying. Andor made that clear, and in doing so, it made the Empire scarier than the Sith ever were. When we think of Star Wars villains, we usually picture the supernatural. Palpatine using Force lightning or Vader Force choking people. Power that feels mythical. But Andor strips all of that away. There's no Jedi or Sith, just the Empire, raw and unmasked. Andor shows us how power really works, not with magic, but with meetings, spreadsheets, night shifts, and quotas. With polite, ruthless bureaucrats who destroy lives by following procedure. It's not fantasy, it's familiar. The Empire stops being a space opera villain and starts looking like something you could actually live under. And that's the scariest part. The Sith ruled through spectacle, lightsabers, lightning like divine punishment, violence as theater. They wanted domination, and they made sure you saw it. But Andor shows us a colder reality. The Empire doesn't need magic. It doesn't need cloaked monsters. Its goals are simpler and more lethal. Order, not for peace, not for safety, for control, for obedience. The machine doesn't scream, it doesn't rage, it hums. It lives in the paperwork, the security feeds, the prison floors designed to break people not with pain, but with routine, not with whips, but with systems. The Sith demand fear, the Empire demands submission, and that's what makes it more terrifying. Because you can fight a monster, you can't fight a machine that never sleeps, that never blinks. The Sith's weakness was always pride. Their hunger for power blinded them. But the Empire's weakness in Andor is harder to see, because it hides behind faces we don't notice, like the officer at his desk, the clerk stamping papers, or the guard watching prisoners march in circles. No one believes they are the villain. Everyone can say they're just doing their job. That's the horror of the system. Evil didn't wear a mask. It wore a uniform. It spoke in reports, quotas, schedules. And that's what made it unstoppable. Because you can kill a Sith. You can't kill a routine. The Jedi and Sith live at mythic extremes, gods and demons locked in endless battle. But Andor shatters that illusion. It strips away the magic and the myth. It doesn't show sorcery or lightning, just offices, reports, and prisons. And somehow that Empire feels more terrifying than all the monsters with glowing swords. The Sith feel like a legend, but the Empire in Andor feels real. Its terror comes not from the supernatural, but from the routines, surveillance meetings, and prison quotas. Men and women who believe they're just doing their jobs while crushing entire worlds. That's why it's terrifying, because evil with lightning feels like fantasy, but evil with a desk job feels like tomorrow. Here's the truth. The Empire's greatest weapon in Andor was never mystical. It was systemic and ordinary, hidden in plain sight. By removing the Force, Andor exposed what made the Empire truly terrifying. A machine so efficient, so ordinary, that most believed resistance was impossible. Because how do you fight paperwork? How do you fight a prison sentence? How do you fight a system where everyone insists they're just doing their job? That's why Cassian Andor's story matters. He showed that even against a faceless system, one man's defiance can ignite a rebellion. And in the end, that's more terrifying to an empire than any Sith Lord. From prison bars to stormtrooper ranks, Andor showed us the true face of the Empire. Chains don't always rattle. Sometimes they look like uniforms, quotas, and order. The Empire didn't need the Force because control itself was the dark side. And next time, we'll see what made Andor's prison arc so terrifyingly real.